Deep Rock Galactic is a game about dwarves in space. My name is Mike Williams. These guys are Jake Lukowski and Liam McKelvey.
Hello.
Hey, gamers.
We have been having a very good time playing this game, haven't we?
Yes.
We have.
Yes, we have. More than I could imagine. Because it's dethroned Battle for Middle-earth 2, which is a tried and tested veteran of over 10 years.
Yeah, it has. It's only in the sense that we are playing it now. I am in no way saying that Deep Rock Galactic is a better game than Battle for Middle-earth 2. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Let's not get crazy. But it is a lot of fun. I hesitate to say shooter, but there's loads of shooting in it. It's kind of more similar to something like, Minecraft or something like that, where there's a lot of digging and it's got a good dose of like Left 4 Dead, Warhammer Vermintide co-op play where you jump into a level with a group of friends. Should be completely familiar to anyone who's played Vermintide or Left 4 Dead or anything like that, where it's a co-op first-person shooter, but it's got some nice kind of progression and stuff in there, kind of like Vermintide, I guess, where you can kind of customize your characters and you can pick which class you want to play as well. So it all sounds pretty familiar. You can play as a soldier, an engineer, a driller, which is what I'm playing as, and a scout. It's very, very simple. It's the kind of thing where I was playing through the tutorial and I was just kind of thinking, okay, I wonder what is so good about it. You know what I mean? I wasn't instantly feeling like, oh my God, this is amazing. It wasn't until we really started playing cooperatively that it really fucking came to life.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because it's procedurally generated, because it's done like that, innit? There's I think, No Man's Sky comes to mind when it comes to this sort of thing, aliens and underground caverns that have been made by an algorithm. There is a bit of a quality issue there if you're playing by yourself, that I guess the human touch is missing. So then when you inject the human touch again with real human friends, it all comes together. And I think that this is a game that really sort of hits the right places when it comes to cooperative gaming. Totally. I think that's ultimately like what us three specifically have been kind of enjoying the most lately about playing games, is when we've been playing games together. So not like in a COD Warzone way where it's like us versus the world, but we just like to be a team. And
it really facilitates that really well. It's been in early access for, I think it's like 2 years or something. It's been, it's been a little while, and it came out on May the 13th. So it's about a month old in terms of actual release date, in terms of the full kind of finished released version of it. And it's only on PC and Xbox, so it's not on PlayStation. I think this is the kind of thing where, it really would have needed word of mouth for me, which is what happened. So we only got into it because we got, one of our listeners let us know how good it was. And then we kind of thought, all right, then let's give it a whirl. And so essentially we were all introduced to it in some sense by people watching our show, which is Ace, sure. Right? And I don't think I would have got into this were it not for that. I don't think, unless one of you guys were really saying this is a belter, I don't think I would have. It's not that it doesn't immediately sound appealing to me. It doesn't immediately I love dwarves. I really like Lego Rock Raiders, as I've discussed on the channel, which this kind of reminds me of. But still, it would have taken someone just to say, forget what you think this game is. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I think I mentioned it in a podcast a couple of weeks ago that I remember this as the game that I looked at and went, this doesn't look very cool. Yeah. I actually thought the opposite, of what I feel about it now. And in fact, I just finished Minecraft Dungeons and I was looking for another Game Pass game and I saw this and I was like, oh, this looks like a good game, especially on Game Pass. And then I saw it was £25 and I was like, for this? Oh, okay. And then that's where I was before the of the pod. Whereas now, I would double dip. I would buy it on Xbox in a heartbeat just to play it in bed. Looks can be deceiving, and I think unfortunately for Deep Rock Galactic, it's coming against a kind of wave of low poly graphical output that's sort of prominent on Steam at the moment. Loads of people have gone from 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit to now this low poly, and then on top of that, it's got procedurally generated stuff in there, which a lot of the time doesn't really give anything a sort of stamp of quality. So I think, and of course there's the word early access involved, so it kind of does have this a lot of ingredients that can kind of lead to a 6 out of 10 game, right?
Well, it just kind of blends in to a certain degree, doesn't it? It just kind of, it just sounds like a Steam game to me. To a certain, I'd
absolutely.
Like an absolute idiot saying that, but that's the truth. I feel like it would. Everything you've said there, Jake, it just kind of makes it blend into the background. And,
you're totally right. If there was a bingo card of Steam games coming out, this has got basically a full house, but it somehow manages to break through that when you actually play it. And this is one of the things that's kind of, I think, the most shocking for me is that just how well it plays. So, looking at it doesn't do it justice. It feels nice to play. The feeling of simply throwing a flare, because of course you're underground, so there's no light.
Yeah.
The feeling of throwing a flare, I don't know. It feels nice to do. The most simplistic thing. It's not even the shooting.
Totally.
Just throw.
Let's talk about that a little bit then, because the game is based on classes, as I kind of mentioned earlier. There's a space station kind of area. Everyone's got their own little bedroom, which is an amazing touch.
Yeah,
and it's just like a little social area where you can, level up and mess around, dance. You can dance, which is great. You can drink. Yes, it's well good. There's a little barrel kicking game. There's a lot of nice little details in this game. But that's where the game, I guess, begins, or like your average game session begins. You all meet up there, and then you all go off. You pick a level, you go off, and then there's different objectives, which are kind of like collect 200 pieces of whatever, collect 4 eggs, collect whatever. There's simple objectives, and then you load into this environment. Really nice animations all the way through. You're in like a drop pod type thing, which drills down. You really good attention to detail, and then you essentially jump out and just try and achieve the objective as a team, which means venturing deep into these caves, drilling your way through, fighting off aliens, whatever. And every single player has got a different class that they can pick. So we're playing as 3 players, playing as the scout, Jake.
Yeah, that's right.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, so just to be quick, because this gets a lot of Vermintide mentions, people are saying that it's very this game's a little bit different because you drill down and then you do a bit of orienteering in a sense. Yeah. It's not like Vermintide where you just follow a linear path and then you get to the end, or Left 4 Dead when you get to a safe room. In this, you actually always have to return to your drop pod. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because my class kind of works with a couple of these aspects. So the scout, his main, I guess, purpose is to light shit up, baby. So every player's got rechargeable flares that they throw, but I've got a specific gun that's bigger, harder, better, faster, stronger. It shoots these big flares that can light up a whole cavern, and that is an ecstatic feeling. When I'm playing, I feel like I was born to do it.
Can we just make it absolutely clear? When you say you've got a gun that's bigger, harder, faster, better, stronger, it's bigger, faster, harder, better, stronger at lighting up the cave.
Yep.
So that we can see where we're going.
100%. I am telling you right now, the way that this game has made me feel about lighting up caves, it is one of the biggest thrills in a first-person shooter. Yeah. I feel like, because what I'm doing is I'm shooting hope out of the gun. It's every time I do it, we can see all the potential minerals and walls. We can see everything.
You need to
and not only am I. Yeah, with the torch. But what it is, it's like knowing that I'm doing that and everybody sees it and everybody can. It's helping everybody.
It's the loudest, the most obvious, and the attention grabbing.
Yeah. No, there's something about it. Knowing it, you, the whole thing is team. So my other ability as a scout is I've got a zipline gun that is. Well, it speaks for itself. So there is another class that can actually shoot a permanent zipline between A and B, whereas this is actually just like a grappling hook that I can use. So that actually really complements well with Liam's class that can shoot a platform into the wall. So we can see some minerals we need to gather high up, and getting up there will take some time if we were to mine a platform through the wall. You can use a little, basically a laser pointer to tag things for your friends, and I can say, Liam, could you just chuck a platform up there? He does it, I zip up there, I'll mine, and then I'll throw the minerals down. So my class isn't actually a very lethal, powerful class. I've just got a bit of ability, and I can light the way for everybody. But I'm telling you right now, it's one of the most satisfying team. I'm playing Overwatch at the moment as well, and I'm playing as a healer. It's not as exciting as shooting a giant flare. It's just something about it. So I'm playing a scout and I'm really, really enjoying it. I think other than that, I've got just a little small assault rifle, and then my secondary weapon's a small shotgun. But compared to what I'm seeing you guys using, it's nothing. So I don't know what you guys are using. But
Liam, you're playing as the engineer, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. So the engineer he's basically like a support role, mainly, where his main weapon is just like this shotgun. So you've got a bit of combat capability, but not like too much combat expertise.
Yeah.
But then, the main helpfulness of the engineer comes in, as Jake mentioned before, the platform gun. So, like, if you say it's like a sheer cliff face, you can strategically shoot out little like platforms that like this like expand in foam type thing. You can build like staircases up these like sheer cliffs. I think you described it, Mike, as I was building Super Mario levels.
Yeah, but it is, and it's dead useful, and so it's like I was saying earlier, the mission will say you need 200 different 200 of a certain type of mineral, and then some of these caves are huge, and you kind of look at you'll just be looking at a sheer cliff face which is massive, and there's just no way, there's no as far as we've played, there's no real
no obvious way up
type. There's we got the zip line, but then you need something to stand on when you get up there, so that's how you and Jake kind of click together with your abilities, because you can give him a platform to so he can launch himself up and get these things that are high up. So they're really cool how the abilities of each class click together like that. And the turrets are pretty cool as well, aren't they?
So like the other role of the engineer is he can build a turret. You can eventually upgrade it so you can have one big turret or two smaller turrets. And so every so often the game will, kind of like Left 4 Dead, I guess, where it'll say the swarm is coming, and so you have to like set up camp, stand your ground where you are, and the engineer can build these like auto turrets, which are very much like the scene out of Aliens, where the Marines have to build the turrets in the tunnels. And so you have this like auto turret that just like mows down the big alien bug things that come at you. And then the secondary weapon of the engineer is also very helpful for when the swarm comes at you. It's a big grenade launcher, so you can do like quite a lot of crowd control sort of things on the enemies to keep them at bay, while like the driller will like make your escape route for you. So I really like the engineer so far. It's plays well into my love of playing support characters.
It's cool, and it does click well with the other classes. I mean, that's part of the real success of the game, is how the classes just complement each other and everyone feels valuable, but in different ways. I'm playing as the driller, which, as you'd expect, drills into the rock and stuff, and so everyone has got like a little pickaxe that they can chip away at things, and the driller has got two kind of powerful drills that you can quickly burrow through from one area to the other, and that there are these kind of fairly obviously signposted, like you need to drill here to get through to the next cave bits.
They're like dirt, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. And but it comes in useful in a lot of different ways, and so that's kind of where I come in terms of the mining aspect of it. And then the weapon I've got is kind of like a flamethrower, which is just sprays fire everywhere, and it's like really bad for friendly fire. However, there's a good like leveling up perk system where all of these games got a really good loop of going into the level, getting materials and progressing your character, coming out of the level, leveling up, improving your gear, and then going back into the level. Just that constant circle of playing the game and then playing through the level and then improving your character. So the perks actually let you do kind of make it so that I can use the flamethrower and not cause as much damage to you guys if you accidentally happen to get caught by the fire. So they've really carefully tied the progression to the actual realities of playing a game, which is cool. Like, I like using this flamethrower, but I'm hosing you guys all the time. But then there's a solution to it in the game. There's perks that help you deal with that, which is just great. It's fucking really, really that is successful like early access design to me. That's the kind of like feedback you get from players' design. Do you know what I mean? Like had problems flagged up.
Absolutely. And then you of course, I could put that same perk on and it'll half damage done by people, because of course if you're playing with strangers, of course we're a strong family unit here. But if you're playing online with maybe more selfish players who like using the flamethrower but couldn't give two shits how singed your beard is going to be, luckily you can also take measures that way. So
it's great. It's a lot of fun. The only other class we haven't talked about is the gunner, which is the one you get in the tutorial, and that's a bit more straightforward. You get a big kind of Gatling type thing, good revolver as a sidearm, and obviously your priority is murdering the aliens. But then you've also got like a zipline gun that your teammates can hop onto. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I actually played this just a couple of days ago by myself, just so I could get used to it and see if maybe I preferred it, which I didn't. But yeah, it's a permanent. So if you've played Apex Legends, imagine Pathfinder, his ultimate ability, you literally pick an A and B point, and then you can just make a grapple. It is quite strict with the limitations of not only how far, but also how steep. So if you find yourself down the bottom of a chasm or something, you can't just aim straight up. It's actually quite strict with that. So but yeah, it's a pretty decent all round, and it's the class that everybody who plays the game will start with. But I just want to say that quickly, right? Based on what we've just said, for anyone who's not quite picturing this, I just want to just mention this. Picture the scene. The game is entirely, by the way, the map is 100% destructible. So Mike said earlier that there's like some pretty obvious places you're supposed to dig, and that's true. But you can dig anywhere. You could literally dig, every single environment to your heart's content. So picture the scene. We've got Mr. fucking Big Drill Hands over here. Absolutely drilling through the thing, because we've just looked at our map. We don't know where's next. Then he breaks through. What happens? Well, Mr. Flare Gun over here pops a massive flare. Yeah, shows off. We can see a huge chasm in front of us. It's procedurally generated, so it's super anecdotal. You're like, oh, and then Liam shoots a platform and we make our way across. That's like so unique to our little adventure. Yeah. And every time you break through a wall, you don't know what you're going to see. And the way that we know exactly our roles and things like that, it's just such a there's this funny, it means absolutely nothing to anyone listening, so I'll just say it dead quickly. But there was this one part where Liam fell down this massive valley. Yeah. Me and Mike are on our separate cliffs because I ziplined over somewhere. I shoot a flare down. Liam's facing off with this spider about 4 times the size of him, and we're just trying to offer support and fire. I had a dream about that. It's
the potential for stories, considering the amount we've actually played it, is really encouraging, because we haven't, it's not like we've been playing this for fucking ages through early access or whatever. We've just played it a few times and enjoyed it. And the amount of anecdotal kind of experience, the amount of, just fun anecdotes we're getting, it's a fun game. There's good sensibilities of the details of the just in the space station where they're just having a laugh, but it just adds so much to it, just having that good sense of humor all the way through, dancing and shit, as I was saying earlier. It's just fucking, it doesn't need to be there.
At the end of the day, we used to sit down and play Warzone, and you have fun when you're winning, but when you're not, it can be annoying. This game, you'll laugh, you have fun with your mates, and then you'll leave the game in a good mood.
Yeah, feeling exactly.
And if that's not what games is all about, I don't know. I am just astounded at how good this game actually is.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We played a lot of RTS games, but that doesn't count recently. But the other big game that we've played before this, I guess, is Modern Warfare, isn't it? And we played Warzone, and and you feel like you've been robbed and stuff for the connection problems and the lag in these big 150 game matches. And I mean, it is, when it works, it is fucking awesome, and when it clicks, it really clicks. But I think there are certain games that just don't lose sight of the fact that they need to be fun, and this is one of them games where they've just all they are interested in is you having fun with your mates, and it shows, and it's awesome. And I don't think we can recommend it highly enough. Do you guys have anything else to say before we wrap up?
I think I've praised it enough. I'll just say that if you are into the sort of Vermintide, Left 4 Dead style things, I know there's quite a lot of these sort of things going on. I think this does enough different things that maybe you'd be interested in. It has got that customizable progression loop and this sort of end game prestige style system where there's just enough there that you can customize your characters to keep it relevant to your playstyle. But if you're a fan of this, or you miss that kind of simplicity of just having fun in games these days without all these modular weird expansions, it's just don't sleep on this. I will be surprised if I play a co-op game with you guys this year that's making me, happier than this.
And it's 3 gigabytes. I mean, it's a gig and a half download. Have it on your PC in minutes. You know what I mean? Like, it's not it's 25 quid, I think, at the moment, and I paid full price for it. I didn't want to wait for a sale or whatever. Just wanted to see what it was about, and I don't regret it for a second. So, Liam, you got any last thoughts?
Just that, we've only played it for a few hours, but so far I just love how many great memorable moments it's given us, when the Swarm turns up and the John Carpenter synthwave music starts thumping, and building turrets, you're trying to drill a hole, and Jake's firing flares, hordes of aliens come at us. Just so many little memorable moments already. It's one of the best co-op games I've played in years.
So if you've been playing Deep Rock Galactic, let us know what you think about it down in the comments. If you have been playing it for a long time, give us some tips, innit? Do you know what I mean? Tell us what we should be doing, what we should be looking out for. Tell us how to enjoy the game in the comments. We'd love to read any veteran tips, because I'm completely new to this. I'm totally I've not done any reading up on it or anything, not watched any videos. Everything is new to me. So if you can share any good nuggets in the comments, that'd be ace. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.